Oh, man, I hate Mondays.
Nah, man, it's Tuesday.
Wait. What day is it?
You know what day it is. Tuesday. Brewsday Tuesday.
Oh, fuck yeah! It's time for Brewsday Tuesday, brought to you by the Cellar and Six Pack Store. Here's DreZ and Big Nate.
and a little mic bump to boot. It is DreZ and Big Nate and special guest Jayson and Jayson doing the Brewsday Tuesday here on 105.3 The Bear, brought to you by the Cellar Restaurant and Six Pack Store in downtown Blacksburg. If you haven't noticed, we are in Studio B. That's why it might sound a little different and look a little different if you're on the Facebook or the YouTube, because we do have, we need the more mics, so we got to go in the talk studio.
I feel like sitting in this studio just feels so much more formal. Like I feel like I'm a kid, like using my dad's guitar when I'm not supposed to. I don't know. It's just weird stepping in here.
It's because if we mess something up and not leave it as is, then Rick will not be happy the next morning.
That's true.
So listen in to Rick Watson's
there you go.
Big sports talk and hear him bitch about us leaving the Bear banner up or something. But in the meantime, we do have Jayson and Jayson of JH Bards right here in Fairlawn. I mean, what was it? It took you, what'd you say, 4 minutes to get here to the radio station from where you guys are located. So I can't believe it took us this long to get you guys on air and feeding us liquor in the Bear studio. But here we are finally. So first things first, what did you pour us? And then let's find out a little bit about JH Bards and how it got started and all that good stuff.
Right on. Yeah, thanks for having us. We currently opened up our Sinky Creek vodka made by JH Bards. Great little spirit, 100% grain-based, so naturally gluten-free, super clean and easy to sip upon.
Awesome. Actually, let me grab that right here so everybody can have a look and I can look at the bottle. So
it's a beautiful bottle.
I didn't even realize you guys did vodka because when I first met with you all, I guess a few weeks now, it was like at a whiskey tasting, which is obviously that's more my forte. It's what I'm really into is the darker liquor. But man, so you got Sinky Creek vodka. How long have y'all been making this?
We've been opened up to the public last March, so we've been open for about 15, almost 16 months now.
Okay, and it's distilled in Virginia.
Absolutely.
Is it at Is it at the Fairlawn location, or where are y'all actually doing all the magic?
The magic happens about an hour south with a distillery partner that we have, and we bring it up here to our Fairlawn location, and that's where we finish all of our rectifying of the barrels as well as all the labeling, bottling, and distribution out of. Okay,
cool. So I know, and I'm staring at the whiskey bottles over there. I know that's what's to come. But
he's just eyeballing.
Was it always both, or I mean, what was when you first wanted to get into it? What was the first baby, and then have you just started to branch and get more and more? I guess different spirits.
Chicken or the egg?
Yeah, right.
We started out with four main spirits. We did our vodka, and then we had our bourbon, our rye, and our maple whiskey. Bourbon and whiskey is definitely me and Jayson's forte. But vodka is pretty easy to make, doesn't require any aging, so it's a fast turnover product, and it keeps the lights on.
You can just kind of pump it out. Plus, I don't know, man, there's something about vodka that's just, everybody needs vodka. I mean, I'm a whiskey guy, but you have to have vodka on hand because that's the easiest thing to mix with something. You can make a cocktail. Anything that you're starting before noon, usually you want it to be a vodka drink, at least in my opinion.
I honestly, vodka's easily one of the most versatile liquors on the face of the planet. You can make hand sanitizer with it, for crying out loud.
And a lot of people did. Just a couple of years ago, a lot of people were doing the hand sanitizer.
To me, it seems like a silly way to use vodka, but...
So it's really easy to remember because you guys are both Jayson. But tell me a little bit about JH Bards. I guess that's a name-based branding, I suppose, right?
It is. Yeah. So I'm Jayson Hardy, and he's Jayson Hudson, obviously, as we've discussed. But that's where the JH comes from. It's pretty easy. Easy for us to remember anyway. The Bards is a little more tricky. It's a little more complicated. It's an acronym for us. It's the Bourbon and Rye Drinking Society, which is a whiskey club that we founded, almost 5 years ago now. Group of guys around the New River Valley that got together and just didn't want to be part of the work crowd anymore. Didn't want to be part of the parenting crowd. Just step away for about an hour or so once a month and drink some whiskey. So we formed that together. Thought the Bards was a pretty neat acronym, so we made that part of our name. It also kind of harkens back to medieval times when a bard moved from town to town and brought news from different places and created a real sense of community that way.
It's also great because when you think of all of the iconic best, whiskeys or brands, it's usually just like a name like that, So I think that works.
Yeah.
It's very fitting.
That was a conversation we were having, off air the other day, kind of in preparation for this. And I chuckled as we were sitting here because Jayson was kind enough to hand me a little information. And when I was reading the story about the name, I was like, oh, it seems so obvious now. Like, it's perfect.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Kudos on that one.
A lot of work went into that one. A lot of work. A lot of whiskey infused work.
Now, and as for the logo, I see it's just sort of like nice and mountainous. I'm guessing that's just right here at home, looking at the Blue Ridge. Yeah. Which is also nice as well. And and it says right there, established 2020, which is quite a crazy year to establish anything. I mean, how difficult was that to get this up and running when, obviously that was one of the wildest years in recent record.
Yeah, we've been having a conversation for quite a long time prior to actually getting this off the ground. And once COVID really set in and looked like it was going to stick around for a while, we kind of figured, what better time to open a whiskey bar, open a whiskey distillery. So we jumped ahead, really advanced our plans very quickly, got things off the ground. If nothing else, we figured it would be a great time to open with fewer eyes on us, so all the mistakes that we made wouldn't quite be as public. But it wouldn't go back on that decision at all. It was a great time to open. People, I think, were looking forward to something new, something to get out of the house and do. We were able to sell curbside, cocktails to go. All that was part of COVID and some executive orders from the governor. So all that helped us really get started and get off the ground.
That was kind of my thinking, like early on at the onset is yes, this time sucks. We're kind of going through hell right now, going through it. But if you strategize properly, there's an easy way to kind of come out on top and come out ahead. Now, if that hadn't happened, do you guys think that still would be where you're at now?
I think that's hard to say. I think with things being more open now than they were a year or 2 years ago, we would probably be in existence, but I don't know that we would have the foundation underneath us that we do now. I think we can thank a lot of that to having time to work. Both of us had full-time jobs at the time, so it gave us a little more time to step away from that and put everything together and kind of finalize everything.
All right, that's cool. And actually, I wanted to get to that because obviously this is, a new baby, a new adventure for you all. It just started in the last couple of years. So you mentioned full-time jobs. Obviously, this wasn't, you just kind of jumped into this, I'd imagine. What was y'all's day job, or maybe even still? Is this now your full-time gig, or y'all still double dipping?
This is my full-time gig. I did 32 years in the restaurant business, and obviously when COVID went down, restaurant business kind of went with it for a little while.
It's a good time to switch it up.
Yeah, and it kind of worked out well because I possess a distillery manufacturer license. I'm not able to work in restaurants on a legal basis. So it was kind of a perfect timing to jump out of the restaurant business and hop into something that I've wanted to do for a very long time.
Is that a payola thing or?
No, it's an old Prohibition era tied house law. There's currently a bill in the state government right now looking to repeal that, but I'm pretty happy not to go back into restaurants, let's be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't looking out for your restaurant gig. It seemed strange to me.
Yeah, it's just an old Prohibition era laws.
Okay, and what about you?
We had to change his whole sleep schedule when we first started off. He was used to staying up until 4 a.m. and not as productive the next morning.
Switching it up, yeah, definitely. Same deal? Restaurant business? What about you?
No, completely different. I'm a banker still. I've got a very forgiving and understanding employer that allows me to moonlight and do the two. So I do my best to kind of switch back and forth as the day goes on, try to get everything in that I need to get in.
All right.
I wish my bankers did cool things like that.
It helps to be a cool banker.
That is helpful. So, all right, obviously, I don't know about you guys, but they're being nice and smart with just the actual tasting. This has been going for a while. This vodka went down pretty quick.
I took a sip and then I held. And
yeah,
that's good.
So that's the thing with I mean, like I said, I'm more of a whiskey guy anyways. That's when I really, you're sniffing it and doing all that. With vodka, I can't think of any vodka I've ever just sipped on, just straight vodka. It's always something that I would throw in as make a screwdriver or whatever. But I mean, it went down pretty easy. What'd you think of it, Nate?
I think it's delicious. For me, I'm more prone to sipping on vodka, but I don't. Not like I would bourbon, like you mentioned. But the thing is, with a higher tier vodka, you can because it's that smooth. And there is that smoothness here, I think. And kind of you get that cooling effect on your breath after drinking it. Absolutely love it.
Yeah, it was amazing how smooth it does go down. And for those that are watching on the YouTube or Facebook or whatever, you can see it's a nice, classy bottle. I really do like how the logo kind of, it's on the back of the vodka, so it just, magnifies there, the Blue Ridge Mountains there. And obviously a nice cork top, which is also key and makes it a little classier and just tastes better when it comes out with the cork top. So
absolutely.
Kudos on that, man. So, all right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a break. We're going to play a tune. We are a rock station, and we usually let our guests decide the tune. Are you guys rock guys? You got a favorite band?
Absolutely. Let's throw some Rush on.
All right, Rush it is. I like it. Rush for the rush hour. We'll come back and we'll drink a little bit more with Jayson and Jayson of JH Bards. I think we're switching to whiskey next, Big Nate.
All right, I'm game.
Let's do it. Stick around.